Well. That is a lot of action for the first morning of a test match. It's been a contrasting first session to the first test in Chennai. It's seen as many as 16 boundaries, 13 fours, 14 fours, and a six. And we've also seen three wickets fall. So, whose session is that? We'll find out on ESPN Written for Matchday, powered by Realme X7 5G and X7 Pro 5G. Ian Bell and Sanjay Manjrekar with me. I'd be delighted to know which team is the happier team going into that lunch session. Sanjay, that was a lot of action for a first morning.
A lot of action, and all the runs that you mentioned came from one person's blade.
Hmm.
So it was England's session because they got some crucial wickets. I mean, they've got Virat Kohli out, they've got the wall, Pujara out, and Shubman Gill gone. So terrific session, and that is why Test cricket these days has become so entertaining. That there's a lot of action every session.
Over four and over in that session. I wonder if that Kohli wicket hadn't had fallen, whether the thought would have been any different. But the fact that this test is moving so fast, this session has moved so fast, would England be happy with that, Ian Bell? Three wickets, including Kohli and Pujara.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I see it 100% England session. Like certainly from an English fan, who's on the board on this pitch look like they're going to be vital. So big toss. I thought it's been really, like you said, a really good session of cricket. The first Test match, all attritional, nothing for the bowlers. This one, it's definitely some spin there. I thought Ollie Stone and the way England started was fantastic. But yeah, this pitch is certainly more entertaining in the pace of the game. And we said just before how important Rohit Sharma today was for Rohit, and he's delivered so far. I think just from his point of view now, it's about going as big as he can on a pitch that's already turning.
Yep. Yeah, we spoke of Rohit Sharma's importance. Sanjay, you brought it up. And it seems like, especially the evidence of the last 20, 30 minutes of that session, that this is now suddenly a very important innings, and an innings that seems very different from the others.
Yeah, a bit like Virendra Sehwag, that's the kind of impact that Virendra Sehwag would make. There was that test match, if you remember, in Sri Lanka when Ajanta Mendes made life miserable for the Indian batsman, and Sehwag got a double hundred. The next highest scorer was 50. So it's turning out to be that kind of an innings, that kind of an impact that this would make, because you've seen the pitch already. And Rohit Sharma typically has his own way of batting. So Moeen Ali bowling full outside the off stump gets swept for four, as opposed to being troubled outside the off stump. He's played his favorite shot and pull against the fast bowler. So that's going to be a crucial wicket. And when both teams bat, we'll get to know how this pitch is actually, how it's going to play for the rest of the test match. But Rohit Sharma's innings in the context of the game, crucial because of the way he played. So runs on the board, very important. But three wickets, big ones lost.
All right. Now we will get into those three wickets one by one. But before that, let's just get your first impressions of this pitch, which I'm very curious to know. Observations and first impressions. Sanjay, you're the local expert, so let's get you first up. The pitch is
I like you calling me now the local expert instead of the pitch doctor. So yeah, okay.
I know you didn't take kindly to that, but I picked something else. I'll pick something else for the next show. Go on.
Okay, yeah. So we'll test your cricketing vocabulary in that. Okay. Now, see, when you expect, test standard batting, test standard bowling, and test standard catching, you've got to also expect test standard pitches. And I think this pitch is, to be, I don't want to use very strong words because you know how that gets, used in social media stuff. But I mean, come on, when you have the pitch exploding in the first 25, 30 minutes of a test match, you've got to say that's a very, very poor pitch. It's substandard. If you want test standard performance, then you've got to have international standard, test standard pitches as well. This is by no stretch of imagination anywhere close to being a test standard pitch.
Okay, let's get Ian Bell's first thoughts, and then I'd like to ask a few follow-ups. Belly?
Yeah, I'd agree. I have a little bit of sympathy again in the times we're playing back-to-back test matches on the same square. Obviously, again, I think there's no doubt the toss in the first innings was important because it was so flat. But 3 days preparation, watering, rolling, it was never going to be as good. So I have some sympathy in terms of that. But I agree. I mean, you don't want to see the ball turning and bouncing like it has done so far. It doesn't look to me as then this could go 5 days if the course of the action goes on the same in the next session and then the one to follow today. So let's see again, as Sanjay said, how both teams bat on it. But at the moment, it doesn't look to be a great wicket.
Now, I totally get where the two of you are coming from, not only as former Test cricketers but as former batsmen as well. And I know you speak it with objectivity, but if I speak just from a viewership point of view, this session has been far more entertaining to watch than the first session or even the first day of play, no matter which team would have batted in the first test. Now, pitch preparation is an inexact science, Sanjay. When you say this is a poor pitch or a substandard pitch, there's still run making happening at over 4 and over. So I'm trying to understand the balance of why this pitch isn't as good.
When you see the surface exploding in the first 30 minutes of a test match, I mean, that tells you that the top surface has come apart, not enough preparation is gone. And I don't think it's because in the effort of trying to get a great batting pitch or a great test pitch, this has happened. I think there is an approach to making a pitch that will turn from day one. It was a slow turner in the first game, so they tried to do something different with this one. This is all part of a plan to dish out a certain kind of pitch. It's not an exact science, but this is not an effort that's gone wrong in trying to prepare a very good pitch. And I think Indian cricket and the Indian cricket team has risen to those levels that it doesn't need a pitch like this to win test matches at home. We've had enough evidence in the past where even when you've had a good Indian pitch, it's going to turn on day 3 and day 2, 3, 4, 5. And India have been able to win comfortably. I just get this feeling now. I don't know whether it's because of the Test Championship that there is a certain amount of desperation to win and relying completely on the surface to provide that result. So trying to prepare a turning page or a dry page and a page that will really help the spinners. This is what you get. It happened in Nagpur as well, and that pitch got reported, if you remember, India, South Africa, and there was a World T20 pitch also. So you don't, I mean, forget about runs being scored and everything. If you see the surface coming off in the first 25, 30 minutes of a test match, that tells me a lot about the pitch.
All right. Is this, even though it's a completely different type of pitch for the first test, is it still heavily in favor of the team that wins the toss? Is that again the same problem, even though it's a different type of surface belly, or at least does it look like that even after just one session of play?
Oh, it looks a fantastic toss to win. This pitch is only going to go one way. I can't see it getting any better. And that's part of Test match cricket as well. In general, you want to bat first. But if this pitch is anything like the previous one, the deterioration's coming. It just might come on the back end of day 1 and day 2 rather than the end of day 3. So, yeah, it's a great toss to win. But again, I know we talk a lot about the toss, but I thought England were outstanding in the way they went about delivering what they needed to, and now it's up to India to do the same. I thought, as we said, Rohit Sharma's just been fantastic, and when he gets going, he's a beautiful batsman to watch, and we've seen him at his best today. But India are going to have to start well again now after tea, make the most of this toss. It's a toss to win, and it's up to them now to make the most of the better batting conditions, even though there is spin on day 1.
Okay, let's talk about the 3 wickets that did fall. Rohit Sharma saw his partner fall pretty early, which was a great start for Ollie Stone in India, getting a wicket rather early in this innings. So let's get Ian Bell's thoughts. Indian batsmen have not seen a lot of Ollie Stone, but he's right on the money quite from the get-go, Belly.
Yeah, I thought that, to be fair, Stuart Broad set the tone. He bowled a maiden first up as well. And one thing I liked about the first few overs with that hard ball, I think they made India play nearly every single ball. There's no easy leaves. And as I said before, generally Ollie Stone swings the ball away. But he slanted that ball back in and he was attacking the stump. So that's a little bit different. So if they've watched a lot of footage of Ollie Stone, they'll see nice shape, nice seam, and he swings the ball generally towards the hips. And that was completely different today. But, you know, it's great anyway. A young fast bowler starting well. And he actually finished the session really well as well, which was great. But a big wicket up front because Gill actually has been a form player. He's looked good. He's looked dangerous and he scores fast. So England would have been really happy with that wicket up front.
Yeah, they did make India's batsmen play a lot in that first 15-20 minutes. Given this is a bowler in his second test, Sanjay Broad playing his first test again, they got their plan spot on.
Absolutely, I've just been so impressed with the tactics of England and bowling a lot of spin in that first session, and just about that area of 25-30 overs, you'll start seeing the fast bowlers come into play. We had one spell from Ollie Stones to probably start after lunch, and they'll try and exploit the reverse swing that Jimmy Anderson got in about the 25th, 30th over. So tactics brilliant. The thing with the line outside the off-stump, which is the international line all over the world, in India, when seamers bowl outside the off-stump, even with the hard new ball, one thing is to get the edge. It's very difficult to get an edge because there's hardly any lateral movement swing. And once you get that edge, that ball to carry to the slips is another, big hurdle. So the much better line is to attack the stump, which is what they did. As far as Shubman Gill is concerned, it happens to all batsmen. They get some murmurs, they hear about talks where he needs to tighten up a little bit. And I have a feeling maybe in the break, he would have worked at leaving balls outside the off stump, just become a little more compact and be almost foolproof as a top order batsman. It was something that was playing in his mind, is my reading, and to a ball that should have been, straightforward defensive ball outside the off. Somebody tried to leave it. It wasn't that wide that that it nipped back in, got him. So you feel for Shubman Gill there.
All right, fair enough. Cheteshwar Pujara, is that Jack Leach just getting better and better as this series goes on? Or is it Pujara just losing his concentration for a moment? I'll get your thoughts first and then go to Belly. Sanjay?
I think it was the case of what you mentioned, just a little lack of concentration. Pujara is 110%, concentrated and intense when he's defending. But when he went forward there, he was not to the pitch of the ball. And to make matters work, it just worse. He instinctively sort of, went with the turn of the ball and almost like giving slip catching practice. So it was, I would say, lapse of concentration. And technically on a pitch like this, you either get to the pitch of the ball or you leave the ball, or you try and get onto the back foot. So he did nothing of the kind. So just one of those things where he would think, I wasn't perhaps as focused as I needed to be, but Ben Stokes, the catcher. Wow.
Yep, just that. That's the line. Ben Stokes, the catcher. It's just something. And he finally got one that carried to him. Jack Leach was asking.
Yeah, 2 hands to his left and right at his toes. 2 hands. Brilliant.
Yep. Jack Leach was asking questions even before that. Very finally, one did go to hand.
It's been actually a great little battle, actually. Now Leach, Pujara, he's obviously got him out twice, but there's a real nice little battle coming on. You think, certainly to the right-handers, Leach is going to have a good say if England are to do well in this Test match and the rest of the series. So I think day when Pan really got hold of Leach, he's mentally got himself in a really good place. He was confident, and you can see why really England do see him as their number one spinner now. He hits the area or danger areas for batsmen much more consistently than maybe our other spinners. So, really, really pleased for Jack Leach. And as you said, Ben Stokes, that's why he's, world class. He's always in the game. He's taking great catches, a one-handed catch in the first innings. He give everything with the ball, and then we know the class he has with the bat. But I think, like you said, Pujara will be a little bit disappointed. But I know as well in that England dressing room, out of all the wickets, and there's some big players and some, obviously you want every wicket you cherish, but Pujara out of all of them, because the amount of time he bats and how hard he is to get out, he rarely makes a mistake. That is such a big wicket for that England team because he is the rock that this Indian lineup bats around. So that's a huge wicket for England.
All right. Now, you did mention time and again that you are a Moeen Ali fan, Ian Bell. So what was your reaction on the Virat Kohli wicket? What's happened there?
Yeah, well, that is, for me, is one of Moeen's strengths. And the difference between maybe where Moeen is at the moment and where Bess is, generally, Moeen will get lovely shape on the ball. It will drift out, and that ball that turns back. Bess sometimes get the ball to drift in, or it doesn't necessarily get that shape out yet. He's a young spinner. That was the best of Moeen Ali. We've obviously seen a few loose deliveries along the way. I know he tried the full toss to Rahane for ball to see if that worked again. It didn't quite work today. But that was definitely the best. And I think England have just managed to get, and I know Virat's a great player. They've just managed to get him pushing towards extra cover early in his innings, and it's got him twice now. One at short leg, and one bowl today. So that wider line to him early. But that was a perfect delivery from Moeen, and what he does bring to the team more than maybe what Best does with the shape of the delivery bowls.
We don't see Virat Kohli getting out for not early, Sanjay. There was a feeling of, or an expression of disbelief on the Indian captain's face. Take me through your reactions on that wicket.
See, one of the reasons that he is so great as a batsman is this incredible self-belief. We will never understand a great mind because we've never been there. So Virat Kohli, when he goes in, has this great sense of confidence that he cannot get out. Even in the second innings when everyone else was struggling, the pitch was going up in smoke almost, he got a good 70 and seen quite easily that he got that. So when such things happen, it's almost like, am I out? How is that possible? Yeah, I missed the ball, but getting out. So that is something that he has to break. Like such a sturdy layer of confidence that he's going to succeed. When you look at it again, it's a great delivery. I mean, the angle outside the off, Ian Bell mentioned the drift, and that angle, it's like how Waqar Younis used to bowl his reverse swing, is to throw it outside the off stump, inducing the batsman to play the cover drive, not so much off drive, because if you play the off drive and the straight drive, the bat is coming a lot straight. But when you're playing towards covers, then you get that big gap between bat and pad. So it was a fantastic delivery from Moeen Ali. I love Moeen Ali, the off spinner, and more suited for this kind of a pitch than Dom Bess. The only challenge for Moeen Ali in this test match would be if this test match becomes a low scoring one. And he has a tendency to bowl these boundary hitting delivery, something that he needs to curb. But Virat Kohli, I thought, great delivery, but perhaps not to the pitch of the ball as much as he would have liked.
Yeah, that's coming to that next. Is that one of those, we look at it and it seems like, oh wow, classical off spinners wicket, or even, if you want to exaggerate a little on social media, you can get into ball of the year or ball of the century nomination from Moeen Ali. But as a batsman, when you know that it is turning, is that a bit loose from Kohli early on? Belly, you first.
Possibly a touch, but again, any good spinner, when you get that drift and shaping, that's that's what the batsman, the drop, the shape, and it encourages you to start to play through the covers. The one interesting thing for me will be after lunch, we saw a great sweep from Rohit Sharma at the end of that kind of line delivery. Whether India go that way and start using the sweep shot more to those kind of deliveries from Moeen, rather than trying to hit him through the offside, which will be quite an interesting battle to watch. But look, yeah, you can pick holes in that. But again, I think, again, credit has to go to Moeen Ali. I thought that was a fantastic delivery to get early in your innings. However great a player you are, it asks some really big questions.
Yeah, let's talk about that sweep, but I'll just finish. I'll get Sanjay's thoughts on that Kohli wicket as well. Nice point you make, Sanjay, that maybe that's the adjustment you need to make on a turner. Take out the cover drive as much and play it straighter.
See, if you watched Virat Kohli when he was watching the game, every time Rohit Sharma hit a boundary, he was really happy with it. He's a guy who always counter attacks. So somewhere, I think in his mind also, he had decided that against Moeen Ali, he's going to be a little more attacking. Leach gets the ball to go away from Virat Kohli. So maybe in his mind, he came with the preparation that he's going to be a little more respectful to somebody like Leach, but maybe look to score off Moeen Ali. So it wasn't a ball that was quite up there. Virat Kohli is a very good driver of the ball against the spin as well. But every time he does that, he gets right to the pitch of the ball, so the ball doesn't get the time and the space to sneak through his bat and pad. On this occasion, I think he left a little more space than usual, and that could have just stemmed from the fact that he was trying to be a bit like Rohit Sharma, making sure that they are not just defending on balls bowled by the English spinners.
All right. Well, I mean, you look at Rohit Sharma going and you think, well, it looks easy now. So why not play a few shots? Let's talk about the Rohit Sharma innings. And yes, there were a lot of sweeps employed. We haven't seen a lot of sweeping from India's batsmen in comparison to Joe Root, Belly. But we did see Rohit Sharma take the sweep on quite often, even against the ball turning away from Jack Leach. Just your thoughts on whether there's been a different plan of attack from India's batsmen, especially Rohit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly you've got to play to your strengths, and obviously the way Rohit plays a sweep, it's a strong shot. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think certainly any shot that can put the spinner, certainly the English spinner's length under pressure, and I think that shot does, is a brilliant option. So yeah, I think from his point of view, he's got to keep using it like Joe Root did. It looked very similar. It looked at ease. It looked low risk. So why not keep putting pressure on? I can't see this game being about batting 5 days. This is about runs. So again, being positive, putting the bowler under pressure. Yes, you're going to have to be good in defence, but scoring runs is going to be the premium in this first innings as much as batting time is.
That seems to go exactly into the Rohit Sharma mold, Sanjay. Not bat 5 days, but bat runs.
It's a good point Ian makes about this test match. Likely to be more about runs than time. But I'd like to see England bat against the kind of spinners that India have. India have Ashwin, but then they have two spinners like Akshar Patel, who's never played Test cricket before, and Kuldeep Yadav, completely different kind of a bowler who's very slow in the air, flights the ball. So we'll have to see whether that spin trio makes life really difficult for the English batsman who got 578 on a turner in the first inning. So we'll have to wait for the other team to bat first. But for the moment, it looks like a pitch where runs matter. And Rohit Sharma wasn't attacking to get himself out of trouble. He had a plan against Jack Leach. Every time Jack Leach was bowling it slower outside the off stump, he was going full forward and sweeping those balls, almost taking those balls on the full. But when he was quicker, good length, he respected those balls because that is the ball that got him out in the second innings in the last test. So the ball is quick and on good length, he respects it. If the ball is a little flighted and full, he goes for the sweep shot and always looking to cut Moeen Ali. And that's where I think the danger with Moeen Ali outside the off stump is, because runs are, if they're going to be at a premium, it just cannot be loose outside that off stump, because that's such a wonderful line for him to get wickets, but it cannot come at too much cost.
My word. Right. There is plenty that's happened. This has been a fun first lunch show. Normally, you don't get so much conversation, or at least so many talking points on a lunchtime show on day one of a test match anywhere in the world. That's the fun part of this. So whatever this test match does, it's going to give us plenty to talk about. We will come back to this test, but it's time to take a little break from the test itself and have a little fun with you guys. If you joined us on day one of the first test, you remember that we also go back down memory lane and test your India-England trivia. So all of you watching on Facebook as well as on our YouTube live, get ready, because Sanjay Manjrekar and Ian Bell are also going to be part of our Real Me Power of 5. So Belly played this in the first test. I'll apprise Sanjay what we're going to do. It's 5 simple questions on India-England encounters, of which you've seen enough, been part of enough, and you need to just put your hand up the minute you know your answer. I'll give you a stopwatch count on what's my lovely brand new Realme X7 5G Pro here with the 120 Hertz Super AMOLED full screen display. So I hope Sanjay Manjrekar and Ian Bell are all set. I'm going to start with question number 1 for the two of you. And this takes us back to a happier day when Virat Kohli got some runs. With whom did he share a record 8-wicket stand of 241 runs against England in Mumbai in 2016, the last time England was here? Sanjay Manjrekar, before I even have to press my stopwatch and turn it on, has put his hand up, but I'll run through the drill. Yes, Sanjay, what's the answer?
Is it Jayant Yadav?
That's an excellent answer. It is indeed Jayant Yadav who got his maiden test 100 that day in a game that India went on to win. So well done,
Very
Sanjay.
proud of that answer. I'm not very
Oh,
good
this is not going to be easy for me
terrible
today.
at this, but very proud of that
5-0
answer.
could be coming up.
5-0. No, come on. You put up a fight. It's all about this. Summer's about England
I'm
putting
going to
up a
front
fight.
up. I'm ready to go.
Let's go to our next question. It's 1-0 to Mr. Manjrekar, and well done to all of you who've got this right. Who holds the record for the highest individual score for England in India in tests? Right? Highest individual score for England in India in test cricket. Ian Bell's reluctantly put his hand up. The timer's on. Yes, Belly.
Joe Root, it has to be.
Yeah, it is Joe Root. It is Joe Root from that last innings. Well done. Sometimes these are tricky at times, right? So well done. It was Joe Root. His knock in the last test was the highest score by an Englishman in India in test cricket. For that, it was Mike Gatting and Graham Fowler, both in the same test match back in 85 in Chennai. Yes, both double hundreds in a game that England won. So Joe Root holds that record. Now, well done, Ian Bell, 1-1. And good answer. Those recent ones are always the trickiest.
Wasn't a confident
Let's go to our next question, shall we? This is question 3. Now, this I'm going to give to Sanjay Manjrekar first, right? Ian Bell made 4 test centuries against India in all. How many of those were scored in India? Right? This is just, then I'll come to Ian Bell. He better know this. Sanjay,
Can I say none? Can I say none?
You're going to say none, and Ian Bell is going to give you the right answer, I hope. Belly, what's the answer?
1.
Yes. It is indeed 1, and you can tell us which one it was. It was a famous one, of course. Nagpur, wasn't it, Belly?
Nagpur, last innings, so we got the draw, didn't we, to get quite a famous win. One of a rare win.
It's so shameful that I've actually commentated on those games, and I forget that. I remember.
I can understand, Sanjay. It was Ian Bell and John.
Bored you a lot. Yeah, we bored everyone.
Yeah, that's what you needed to do.
You were great to watch.
Yeah,
you were great to watch. Ian.
All right. Yes, it was that 4 test which secured England's memorable series win, and that's such a big win now. If you look back, no teams won ever since then. So that was Ian Bell's only 100 against India in India. There were quite a few in England. Let's go to the next one. This is for Ian Bell now. Don't think we're going to level the playing field, Sanjay. Don't worry. How many sixes has Sanjay Manjrekar hit against England in his test career? Sanjay knows this answer. Have a crack, Ian Bell. 15-second clock on my beautiful phone is underway.
Oh, how many sixes against it? 8.
He's going to say 8. Sanjay is going to give you the answer. You put it, Sanjay.
See, time is so important. When time's gone by, you always get overrated as a batsman. Ian, I hit 1-6, and that was against, I think, Min Patel
Yes.
at maybe Trent Bridge or somewhere.
Yes, it was
1996,
that was Sanjay Manjrekar's only 6.
And interestingly, that was the only 6 of my career. And Ian, my father, who was a far better batsman than me, got over 3,000 test runs, played 53 test matches from the 1950s to the 60s, didn't hit a single 6 in his test career. And I think Jonathan Trott is also somewhere there with no 6s for a long time.
That's right. Yeah, that is right.
All right. So there goes your increased education on India-England contest. Sanjay Manjrekar, and again a memorable series, England versus India in 1996, with that one illustrious 6 of his test career. So it remains 1-1 between Belly and Sanjay. So let's go to our last question, shall we? And this is, which respected cricketer, that's a bit of a hint, his only test wicket was that of Ishant Sharma. Which respected cricketer's only test wicket? It's an England-India quiz, so it's about an English cricketer of high accolades to have taken his only test wicket and that of Ishant Sharma. Ian, well, come on, you've got to put your head to this. You'll surely get this. I'm going to start the timer.
I will have a go. I'll have a go, but I didn't really think it was it not Alistair Cook?
Are you saying it's not Alistair Cook, or was it Alistair Cook?
Was it Alistair Cook?
Yes, it was Alistair Cook. Well done. And I must ask,
tell me the thing about respected in.
This is from our statsman. I think this is from Gaurav, and one of our who thought that the knighthood comes with an automatic respected. That's his way of giving you a hint, thinking that you may not get it otherwise. So it was Alistair Cook, and it was a heck of a ball, wasn't it, Kelly? You were part of that.
Caught down the leg side, one-handed Matt Pryor. I remember. Big celebrations, I remember.
Yeah, was the celebration fun? I was going to ask you, was the celebration fun? It was only test wicket.
It was. Yeah, he did go big. Yeah.
All right, brilliant. So we're going to give that to Ian Bell then, who takes the honours. Only just. It's been a close series already. So Ian Bell takes that right now. But that was fun. It increases your India-England trivia as well. Takes you back down memory lane. And for all of you that want to continue this hunger for India-England trivia, we're not just done on these live shows. We've got something for you as well. Just make sure you participate in the Real Me Power of 5 quiz on the ESPN Cricinfo Facebook page. You stand a chance to win a newly launched Realme X7 5G. Just sensational, that phone. So just get onto our Facebook page for more details and participate in the Realme Power of 5 quiz. Lovely. So we're going to continue doing that on the lunchtime shows of the first day of all these tests. Let's get quick final comments for the next session from Belly and Sanjay. Sanjay, just before we went on, you said the Pacers could also have a big say in this second session as this ball now starts getting a bit old, and Stone and Broad seem like the kind of bowlers that could take advantage.
Yeah, because we've seen how the series has panned out until now with regards to the SG ball. And it's most potent for the seam bowlers from overs 25 to 40. So that's the time I think England will use their 2 fast bowlers a lot more. And once, the seam gets a little disarrayed and all that, the spinners will come back into play. So I see more seam bowling for the next about half an hour, 40 minutes before England, go to spin, or maybe pace and spin in tandem. But you'll see more usage of seam bowlers at around this time, 25 to 40 overs with this SG ball.
I like this point you make about runs being so important, Belly. How does the bowler's role change in that case? You have Leach and Stone that have gone at just over 2 and over, but Broad and Ali have gone over 5. Ben Stokes has gone for 16 in his 2. Is there a role to be played here to just try and keep the runs down from the bowlers?
Yes, well, I think this first hour, as Sanjay just said, is absolutely crucial for this game. I think, as we've seen, the ball is still going to be relatively hard and good for a reverse swing before it gets too soft. So there's going to be a key moment for England. England have to win, I think, this next hour. If India win the next hour and they don't lose a wicket, then I think they're set for the day, and they're going to be ahead of this game quite well. So England, I reckon, will identify this hour as being crucial. As Sanjay said, the ball should reverse swing, and it's still hard. So there should be enough in there. So I expect Ollie Stone to have a good burst, 4 or 5. Broad to come in as well, and Leach probably just a peg away from one end, trying to, I suppose, support the seamers in this first hour.
All right. It's a big thank you for Ian Bell and Sanjay Manjrekar. This is an appetizing session of play that we're in store for. Let's get thoughts from Sanjay and Belly at our tea time show on ESPN Cricket for Matchday, powered by Realme X7 5G and X7 Pro 5G. Lots of runs, lots of wickets in that first session. Let's see who takes the honours in the second. Join us at tea.